Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ola. Many thanks to friends who reached out saying, Ola, I've had a non-standard outcome from my ARCP. How do I proceed from here? Having a non-standard outcome in your ARCP can be challenging. It can be challenging because many of us have, as doctors, we're high achievers. Many of us, we've never failed before. We don't even know what it means to fail. So all of a sudden, we are finding ourselves in unfamiliar territory. And that certainty of it itself, that lack of experience of it can be difficult for many of us to deal with. But the first thing I would advise to a doctor who's had a non-standard outcome is to take some time. Take some time to think about it. Take some time to reflect about it. Take some time to consider all issues around it. That will go a very long way. If you need to take a day or two off work to get your headspace in the right frame of mind, do that. If you need to withdraw yourself a little bit to consider everything that has happened in its totality, please do that. Number two would be this temptation that will be there to blame people. Oh, if only my supervisor signed this off, if only that feedback I was given was better. Let's not do that. Because when we do that, we will not see what is wrong. Many of my friends even go as far as blaming panel members. Panel members can only make do with the evidence that we have presented. So let's not do that. Let's take full responsibility. The third thing is to carefully sit down either with your supervisor or with someone to consider exactly what the panel have requested. When the panel gives a non-standard outcome, they will usually make some recommendations. The best thing is to sit down to carefully consider those recommendations, to put in a clear plan in place as to how to meet those recommendations such that we can do well next time. It may need us sitting with our ears. Some panel reports will suggest to liaise with your training program director. Please do that early on. Number four thing, and the important one, is to then ask ourselves, what are the evidences upon which panel made their decision? And the panel will usually highlight those evidences. Is it that some evidences are lacking? Is it that the feedback is not what we'd like it to be? We then need to go back to carefully address those evidences. Some of my friends who reached out told me, my ESL report was bad. In that case, I would go back to my ES and say, yes, you're not happy with this, and this. Please help me. That ability to accept feedback in good faith, to accept it and to actively look for ways to solve that feedback is very, very important. And which is why I made that second point of not blaming anyone. Because the temptation is to go, it's my supervisor's fault. Oh, my supervisor just doesn't like me. I've even seen people go as far as saying, it's because of my skin color, when all the evidences are there as clear as day. So we need to go back. This and this have been cited by the panel as reasons why they've awarded me a non-standard outcome. How do I go on from there? Yes, please help me to be able to do this. Vast majority of ES will be delighted, will be more than happy to sit down to help, but feedbacks need to be taken in good faith. They need to be taken without guiding oneself, without defensiveness, and they need to be encouraged as well, because when one encourages a supervisor to feedback, they will feel emboldened, they will feel happy. Once they see anything they're not happy about or anything they feel needs improvement on, they will happily tell us, because they know we will accept them in good faith. And that's the cascade of the feedback. If I've not accepted one in good faith in the past, they won't want to tell me. They will just put it in my portfolio, which clearly will form evidences. So there is need to accept feedback in good faith. The last is the need to take care of yourself. It can be a very dark place to be, and it can be a very lonely place as well. If you need help, seek it. There is no shame in it at all. Many have been there. You won't be the first to be there. You won't be the last to be there as well. Many have been there. Please look after yourself. Some of us need time off. Some of us need professional mental health support. Some of us need counseling and therapy. Let's access that on time. I know I mentioned that is the last one, but the other one, which is important, is if you genuinely think that what the panel has said is not in keeping with the evidences, you can appeal. You can appeal, and usually with every non-standard outcome issued, instructions on if you want to appeal, they are usually on that same report. But when you're appealing, I would highly suggest to look at the evidences upon which the panel made their decision and to make sure further evidences are provided to justify your appeal. What I find a lot of us doing is that we appeal with no evidence, and when we appeal with no evidence, it becomes very easy because if a panel has awarded an outcome 3, for instance, and we appeal no evidence, that isn't going to change. That isn't going to change. Although there are some non-standard outcomes that cannot be appealed, but we can request for a review. We can request for a review. Outcome 3 and 2 cannot be appealed, but we can request for reviews of them. The final thing, I know I've mentioned the word finally a few times, is that let's look at the advantages of it. I see many of my friends reach out saying, Ola, I've been awarded an outcome 3. Let's see it as that opportunity to spend some extra time to develop. At the end of the day, the goal is to be a solid GP, an excellent GP, a GP the supervisors can see and be proud of. That should be the goal, really. If that is the goal, and the panel is saying, look, this doctor needs a little bit more time, let's award them an outcome 3. The advantage of it is that they are giving me more time to be able to develop to the level they like me to get to. So I think there is that bright side of it that oftentimes we don't tend to look at, and oftentimes get overshadowed because of the bad things we attach to a non-standard outcome. Friends, I would like to hear your stories about ARCP outcomes, how you've dealt with non-standard outcomes in the past, such that we can encourage our friends and colleagues who are reading that this isn't the end of the world. If you've liked this video, please do me a favor, subscribe, share with your friends, encourage them to subscribe, as I will be sharing a lot of content on the channel to make sure you are aware of all issues, not just related to medical postgraduate training in the UK, but medical life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.